Hello everyone, and welcome to the Managing Your Projects with a 3DExperience platform session. Today we'll be exploring the project planner role on the 3DExperience platform and how it uniquely promotes team-based planning for all business users through simple and assisted planning, execution, and monitoring of projects. We'll be showing you how to use this role to efficiently define, share, and monitor tasks and to keep your projects on track. My name is Kyle Herring and I'm on the Inovia marketing team. I'm happy to be here today with Anat Landau, one of our Inovia product portfolio experts. Our agenda today is pretty straightforward. I'll start things off with a brief introduction of the project planner role, and then I'll hand things over to Anat, who will walk through a detailed demo scenario. And from there, we'll wrap things up with a quick summary, and then I'll point you to where you can find some additional information. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. As an introduction, the project planner role provides the essential capabilities for any organization to design and execute a sustainable business strategy. That's because it's a cloud-based project management tool that has been designed for teams to collaboratively innovate through team-based project planning and execution. As a little foreshadowing, I'll also say that the role is quite unique in the way that it supports product development organizations, but we'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. First, I wanted to spend a little bit of time on why this role is so important. And in short, the reality is that, as we all know, the modern business climate is moving faster and becoming more complex each day. Your business is facing increasing customer expectations, and delivering on them requires rapid decision-making that supports the ability for your business to continuously evolve and adopt new models. Of course, products are also becoming smarter and more connected, more intelligent, more customized. This creates another layer of complexity that you need to organize your teams around to effectively deliver differentiating product experiences using only the resources that you have available. And with this intense competition, you need to move your projects faster or risk losing market advantage. This also means you need to work with a global value network to ensure on-time and on-budget delivery. From a business perspective, this means you can't operate in silos anymore. You need to collaborate across teams and disciplines on project execution. You need to be able to effectively define and execute project tasks. You need to manage projects flexibly and without a heavy top-down approach. You need to keep your projects connected with the enterprise data that they're associated with, and you need to be able to track progress so stakeholders have the visibility into the status so that they can make informed decisions when anything might be at risk. So I know you're probably already thinking, that's great, Kyle, but I've got a process for managing my projects. But ask yourself this: are your current project management tools different across your teams? Or worse, do they vary across different projects themselves? Do they require manual updates? So keeping them up to date more likely than not is going to be disconnected with a project's actual status. And are your projects connected to the actual product data that they support? Sure, we've all figured out a way to keep things moving using a patchwork of emails and spreadsheets and documents and sticky notes, but what does this disconnection actually mean? It means that 30% of your time is spent looking for information, tracking down data to work on, or finding what the status of a project is at any given time. 30%. That's a pretty big number. Imagine what you could do with that time back every day. We can also look at the impact of all this to the overall percentage of projects that are either completed on time and on budget, that were completed but face considerable cost or time challenges, or those that just outright fail. Well, there are in fact a variety of studies that have been done on this topic of project execution, and this data coming from the Standish Group reflects what's been seen pretty consistently across them. So a question for you is, what do you think? From an overall percentage perspective, are the number of projects that are completed on time and on budget? The answer is 16, which to me is impressively low, although when I've presented this statistic to a live audience before, they've actually thought it was considerably higher than the 0% that they were expecting. How about projects that were challenged? 53%. And since a good amount of you are engineers and have likely already done the math, this leaves a total of 31% of the projects that are just outright failures. This means nearly 85% of your projects are going to be impacted in one way or another. To me, this looks like a huge opportunity to improve. Now, a global enterprise organization with a workforce of thousands could likely address this challenge simply by regimenting the project management process through a stringent upfront definition of a project scope, including the tasks, the resources, the phases, the milestones, and dependencies, and then heavily manage that process through execution. The problem is that this top-down approach requires a significant amount of work and is something that leaner teams simply don't have the bandwidth to support. The project planner role provides teams with all these capabilities they need to plan, execute, and deliver their projects, but without the requirement for a heavy top-down approach. The project planner role is also uniquely positioned to provide value across all your teams on the 3DExperience platform. That's because the prerequisite role for the project planner is the collaborative business innovator role. This means you don't need to be a technical user to gain access to the role's capabilities. Everyone can use it. Although if you are a technical user with the collaborative industry innovator role, then you gain additional capability to go even further. And the project planner role provides users with two apps: project planning and collaborative tasks. Project planning provides lean, optimized team planning and tracking for your projects, and then the collaborative tasks app allows individuals to create, assign, update, and track the status of both project-associated and standalone tasks. Good to note that the collaborative tasks app is also included with the collaborative industry innovator role. All right, so that's enough for me on a little bit of background. I'm going to go ahead and hand things over to Anat so she can walk you through a demo scenario that highlights how you can achieve the value that I've just been describing.
Thank you, Kyle. Let's move on to the demonstration. To keep simplicity, I'll be using a very simple project to showcase the project planner role and how simple can it be to organize the work and connecting the different teams to seamlessly work together. I have here Molly. She's the project manager and she wants to address the customer concerns. So she set up a project to optimize the main hatch of the submarine. She coordinates a small team that includes Edward, the analyst. He's responsible on gathering and analyzing the customer feedback. And we have Doug, he's the designer, and he's responsible on doing all the necessary design modifications. I break down the main project planner capabilities into 3 key processes. Things you do to plan the project, things you do to execute your plan, and then the monitoring of the project to make sure that everything is on track. So let's start with planning. We will look on how to create a new project plan. How do we add new members to the project? Then we will look at adding tasks and milestones. We will look at some of the scheduling, how we can define constraints and dependencies so that different tasks execute one after the other. We will incorporate some of the discussion around the optimization options that we have, and we will look at adding content such as attachments, which are typically the inputs of the task. So I'm logged into the platform, and I'm looking on this dashboard that I set up called My Working Dashboard. This particular dashboard I created already contains a couple of tabs. The way you work, you go to the compass, you click on it, and I'm going to search for project planning role. If you click on the role, you can see the apps which are behind it. The project planning and the collaborative task. Those are the applications that come with the project planner role. Now I will create a new tab in my dashboard, call it projects, and I can drag the project planning application to my empty tab and maximize it. Most of the actions we will use project planning application, but there are some parts to do with working on tasks. So I create another tab. I name it tasks, and I added a collaborative task widget to my dashboard as well. Let's maximize it to fit it into the screen. And now I can close the side panel and switch to the project tab. Here I am presented with the welcome page of the project planning application. You can see on the welcome page on the left-hand side, it is defaulting to the activity overview. Activity overview is like what is new. It lists the activities that happened recently to the projects that I have access to. For example, you can see some projects that were created, some comments that have been added, new removed tasks, assigned members, and more. You can click on Show Details to see more details, for example, who performed this activity. Some additional actions or options we have on the side. All projects, for example, it updates the screen with all projects that I'm currently working on. You can see their names, you can see the status. If you want to drill down and find more information, you just click on the project. But we will talk about it later, but this is the way you navigate. Another option is My Projects. Those are all the projects that I own. If you want to delete a project, you can do it from here, from the right click. When deleting a project, instead of deleting it permanently, the system will move it to Deleted Project Recycle Bin, which is another section in the project planning homepage. The deleted projects are kept in the recycle bin only for 30 days. After that, they will be deleted permanently. And you have an indication of how many days are left before the project will be deleted permanently. In this case, it's 30 days. Then you can restore it if needed, using the right click again. Once you decide to restore the project, it will be moved to All Projects or My Projects list, just like it was before it was deleted. Import Project is another option, and the system supports export and import projects. What is nice about it is that you can do incremental updates. You can export a project to a CSV, make changes to it offline, and re-import the updates into the platform. This is a very nice way to create a new project. Another way is to create a new project from scratch. Here we have the Create New Project dialog. And you can also create a project from existing projects. So this is like using a template. If you have a best practice way of work, you can set a template and reuse it when creating a new project. Now let's give the project a title and a description, and I can attach a nice image, which makes it easy to find the project that I'm working on. Let's click on Create, and this is our new project. And you can see that it has currently no task yet exist. So let's open the Members tab to add members to the project. I click on the plus, and you can see there are different levels of access. Leaders have full authority on the project, including deletion. Author can modify all aspects of a project, but cannot delete the project. And viewer can see the project, but they cannot change it. To add a member, you just need to type out the first characters of the username in the respective access level. I added Doug as an author and Edward as a leader to our project. Let's now click on Add, and the members are there. Let's now adding some tasks. I move to the Task tab, and in this view, you can create a task just by start typing the task title in the text field. This will be our first task to gather customers' feedback and concerns. I open the side panel where I can add some additional information to the task, such as a description. I can also set a priority. In this case, I will change it to high, and I can set the planned start and end dates, or I can let the system calculate that for me. So for now, I will not change it. This particular task, I think it is going to take 10 days, plus minus 3 days. So I set the estimated duration. It means that it might take 7 days or maybe extended to 13 days. The project optimizer considers all those inputs and adjusts the project scheduling accordingly. We will see that later. So the first task was created, and you can see the task have states: to do, in work, completed. It is aligned with the Kanban style view, the vertical categories. You can see in the Kanban view the priority of the task, and in green we can see the % complete. Green color, by the way, indicates the task is on schedule. The clock icon indicates this activity needs to be done in the future, and the date is the end date. So lots of information just by looking at the Kanban view. Let's create an additional task, analyze the customer feedback, open it in order to set the description, the priority, and the duration. Let's save it. And by the way, task view, it's not the only place where I can define my task. I can also do that in the schedule tab. So let's switch to the schedule tab, and here we display the task in a Gantt chart view. So let's create a task from here. You click on the plus on the right hand side, and you can see the options to create sub-projects, milestones, and tasks. Let's create our third task, which will be to make the necessary design modifications. Let's add a description and a duration. And another last task for this demo, to prepare for design review. Now you can center the schedule around the current date, which is indicated by the red bar. And now you may have tasks that expand many days. So you can click on reframe, and it's going to do like a zoom to fit, so you can see all activities. You can then use the slider to zoom in and zoom out. The scheduler automatically takes into account any weekends, which are defined in the project calendar, and schedule the activities around the non-working days. So you can see the gray lines indicating it's a weekend, and the task is extended if it falls over a weekend. I want now to create a milestone for reviewing and approving the design changes. Similar to create a task, I click on the plus and choose to create a milestone. Let's name it Design Review. And I want this milestone to be fixed in time, as I have a deadline when this project must be finished. Then, when the milestone is created, you get a pin icon near the milestone, indicates it's a fixed event. Next, I want to add assignees. To assign a member to a task, you open the task and you go to the People tab. You can just start typing the name of the user. And by the way, in the drop-down list, you get a list of all the project members. I assign the first two tasks to Edward. And the third task, make the necessary design modification, I would assign to Doug, because he is the designer. You can also assign a task to a user who is not a member of the project. To do that, you just need to search for the user and add him as assignee. Right-click on the taskbar. I have the option to assign the task to myself. And visually you can see the icons on the left side showing you the assignees that you have been set. Click on the project to open the project property panel. Project Planner comes with what we call Project Optimizer. which is a very powerful engine that takes into account the scheduling strategy with some additional inputs and constraints that we put on the tasks, and automatically schedule the project accordingly. We can set the strategy as time only or time and resource. Time only means that some of the tasks can run in parallel, while time and resource prevents some users to be overloaded. So it will force some of the tasks to run in serial fashion. The default is time only, and now let's have a look on the effect of changing the optimization strategy to time and resource. You can notice that the two first tasks are assigned to Edward. So if I want to stop Edward from being overloaded, I can change the scheduling strategy to time and resource. When clicking Save, the system recalculates the optimum schedule and refresh. So now the tasks are running in serial and Edward is no longer overloaded. So this is our initial schedule. Let's create some dependencies. You have this plus symbol at the end and at the beginning of each taskbar. So you click on one and drag the arrow to the second task, and a dependency is created. Let's create also a dependency between the prepare for design review and the milestone. You can get visual aids of tasks that are in risk or running late. If I change the due date of the milestone by simply moving it on the project schedule, the built-in optimization engine is automatically compressing tasks on the schedule using the time defined on the task. If you remember, we set it to 7 ± 3 days. And then check if the project milestone can still be achieved by the new end date. Compressed tasks are colored in orange with one chevron at the end, as you can see for prepare for design review task, while those that are highly compressed are colored in orange with two chevrons at the end, as the gather customer feedback and concern task. Next step would be to upload some attachments to the task as inputs. To upload an attachment, you click on the upload icon, you navigate to the location and choose the document. Another way to add an attachment is by drag and drop the document on the attachment box. Let's save. Now the files are being uploaded and saved into the platform. You can also attach other type of data which already exist in the platform, either by search or by type the data name in the text box. Molly attaches the main hatch SolidWorks model and its specification, so Doug will have all what he needs accessible directly from the task, without the need to look and search for the required data. Let's switch to the Content tab. This is where all deliverables and attachments of the task and the projects are shown. And you can see that it's already picked up the attachments have been added to the task. You can see the associated task name, and this is where I can also add an additional content to the project itself. Now, the simple project plan is complete, and this concludes the first part of the demo. Let's move along from planning to execute. During the execution phase, project planner role provides some additional functionality to ensure project success. This includes the ability to notify on tasks assigned to you, being able to work on the task and promote its status, adding deliverables which are the outcome of the task, and collaboratively work all the team towards a common goal. For the execution phase, I'm going to log in as Edward, who is going to use the collaborative task application, and then we will be logging as Doug, who is going to work in SolidWorks and will access the task directly from within SolidWorks. So I'm logged in as Edward. and Edward gets a notification, and he instantly sees that he has a couple of tasks assigned to him by Molly. Molly doesn't have to email or text Edward to inform him about the task. Edward gets a notification directly in the platform. Edward is working in Collaborative Task application. You can see that Collaborative Task widget looks very similar to the task view of the project planning. Collaborative Task is a great and very useful widget that everyone can get with the basic license. You don't need necessarily to have Project Planner role. It lists simple tasks, ad hoc tasks, projects-related tasks, as well as tasks coming from routes. This is really your list of everything you need to do in a single view. This is looking across all projects I'm working on. I don't need to remember on which project I need to work. I get all my tasks from different sources in a single view. But as you can see here, if I want to focus on a specific project, I can use the context field and put my project right there, and have the exact same view as I would have if I would open the project planning application. Now I can filter the list and display only tasks assigned to me. And I can choose to view them either by their status, maturity, or due date. Edward begins to work on the task and changes the status from to do to in work by simple drag and drop. And then Molly and others in the project team instantly see the change in the project without Edward having to email them. He clicks on the task and opens the task property page. He can read the title and the description, and he can also look at the attachment. He can preview the attachment without the need to download it. Edward has 10 days to complete his task. Let's do a little bit of fast forward and assume Edward completed his work. He's going to upload now the customer feedback report from a document stored locally on his computer as a deliverable to the task. This is the outcome after 10 days of work. This will save the document on the cloud in the context of the project. Then Edward can go and open the comment tab and send a comment to Molly. Let her know that he completed the task. This comment will now appear in Molly's notifications, and this is really a very useful way of communicating. Edward can work now on his second task. But before that, he promotes the task to completed, and you can notice that it is 100% complete, and it turned also to gray, indicating it is a complete task. Let's work on the second task, analyze the customer feedback. He clicks on the task again and reads the description. He uploads a deliverable, but this time by drag and drop it into the task. He can set the task to complete from this panel, and when he saves it, you noticed it moved to completed states. Let's now log in as Doug. Doug is working in SolidWorks. He opens the collaborative task in SolidWorks and views the task assigned to him. He easily can drag and drop the attached assembly from the task into the SolidWorks session. He doesn't have to leave SolidWorks application in order to work on his task. First, he will switch to My Session, and he locks the top assembly in order to do the required design modifications. In this case, Doug is required to replace the hatch wheel with the new one. So he does whatever is needed to do the replacement, and you can note that the assembly has been modified. He gets a notification on that. Doug now saves his work back to the server, and then he's ready to mark his task as complete. So we open the task again and change it to completed state. Let's switch to monitoring. For the monitoring phase, I'm going to log in again as Molly, the project manager, who will be using the project planning application to track the status of the project. The idea is to quickly identify what is going on and clearly understand what's the status of the project. For this, we will be focusing and using the dynamic dashboard provided by the project planning application that gives Molly a real-time insight into the project status. Molly gets a notification that Edward and Doug completed their work, and she is the owner of the task. Now she can start working on her task, prepare for design review. She drags and drops it into in-work state and indicates she starts to work on it. The percent complete is automatically changed to 10%. As project manager, Molly would like to track the status of the project, so she looks at the schedule view. And as I mentioned earlier, it is all updated in real time. In schedule view, you can see the 3 first activities. They were completed today and represent the time it was really took. The colors of the task provides us a visual idea on how we are progressing. Gray tasks are completed tasks. Light blue bar indicates a task which is on time and still in to-do or in work state. As someone adjusts the percent complete, as Molly did, the darker blue is filled in. Now, using the task view, you can get also a lot of information about the project status. And there are different ways to view and filter the list. Let's for a moment switch to collaborative task view, as I have there much more tasks and the concept is the same. A colored progress bar displays the percent complete along with the risk level. Green, the task is on time and in schedule. Orange, the task is behind schedule, at risk. Red, the task is late. And gray indicates the task is done. The default view is to look at the task and filter them by the status, but you can also list and organize the task by due date. For example, what to do today, what to do tomorrow, what's overdue. So you probably already realized that different and very productive views are available. For example, I can see all the tasks that are overdue, and the maturity state is to do, and also the priority is high. Let's now switch to the summary tab to look at the dashboard. We have here different charts. The first one is milestone and task. It represents all the milestones and tasks in the state of to do or in work and completed. Task risk assessment is a color chart, represents tasks that are at risk. A task is considered at risk when it is expected to be late according to the plan and the current schedule. Task burn down. At any point of time, it will let us know how many tasks are remaining. In our case, there is 1. Resource usage, you get the time on the x-axis, and you can float over and see how many resources are needed at any point of time for our project. Assignees with open tasks. For tasks not yet completed, this shows the assignee's name and the count of tasks assigned to each assignee. Deliverables count by state, the count and state of the task deliverables. And by this, I concluded the project planner role demonstration. Back to you, Kyle.
Thanks, Anat. I know that scenario offers some great insight into the project planner role and how it can be used in highly common product development scenarios. but remember that this is only one scenario and that the role can be easily adopted for use across all of your teams and even with your value network partners. We live by it on the Innovia marketing team, and I can say I don't even want to think about what life would be like without it. As a quick summary of the project planner role, it provides teams with a way to bring everyone together on the innovation process. It connects your tasks with the data associated with them, it facilitates cross-discipline collaboration, and it automatically supports the optimization of product activities. Functionally, it does this by managing tasks, durations, and milestones, attaching content to tasks for easy retrieval and collaboration, creating dependencies and resequencing tasks as necessary, optimizing project delivery with an innovative planning engine, and updating task status automatically to support real-time reporting. If you'd like to learn more, there's a wealth of information available on the project planner role. Just visit solidworks.com/3DExperience-works to find a product overview video or role data sheets or request a demo, or if you even want to start exploring some purchase options. You can also visit the Innovia user community at go.3ds.com/EUC to engage with experts or read blog posts, review some tips and tricks, or watch product deep dive webinars, and there's a ton more there too. And lastly, I did want to point out that there are also several additional sessions at 3DExperience World that are dedicated to data management on the 3DExperience platform. If you'd like to explore what's available, simply visit the session catalog and select any or all of the data and project management topics under the discipline dropdown. And that's it. So thank you all for spending some time with us today, and enjoy the rest of 3DExperience World.